Hello, 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 hello. How y'all doing tonight? I am Cheryl Abram, and this is Person-Centered Cyber. I have an enlightening one for you tonight, okay? As is the case every night. All right, if we're honest. If we're going to be really honest, that's the case every time y'all come over. Anywho, so we're going to talk tonight about what is a logical port. Now, I've mentioned that when I first came into cybersecurity, and I had to study for the Security Plus, the CISA, I had to hear people talking about things. Logical, logical, logical. Okay, they were talking about. You know, a simple Google search, just search up logical. And I did. Still didn't know what the hell that meant, okay? I read the definition, but I didn't, I got it right on the test, all that. But I really didn't know what the hell it was. Like how in the world does that work? I got the physical. I see the USB ports and the see all this other stuff on here. You plug it in and it works, you're good. I get that. I can see that. But the logical, I'm like, how does a logical port work? I don't get that. So me being who I am, I did my own research, okay? Because I wasn't getting the answers I needed by just asking people, because they probably don't know either. Anyway, but before we get to that, y'all remember last time we were talking about vulnerabilities, okay? And just gum out of my mouth. We were talking about vulnerabilities. And I mentioned the fact that blue team members, those of us who do security, okay, we can also find 0 days. There's no reason why we can't do that, okay? No reason. And we don't have to be ethical hackers to do it. We absolutely do not. We can find 0 days, all right? And what did I say? What I said was, because of one simple fact, physics. You learn this stuff when you were in 7th grade science, okay? An information system is something, it's a system. Every system produces something. Every system produces something, okay? And with what they intend to produce, okay, what the purpose of it is to produce, okay, that's well and good. But something else that happens for everything that produces anything, you always going to have waste. Always going to have waste, okay? Which is like the residual, like the exhaust, that comes out of with all that work or stuff that's being done. You got waste. Just look at, it's like human beings, okay? We eat food to give us energy, and the energy, is output as we're able to talk, we're able to move around, our muscles work, the blood is flowing, we can run, we can jump, all that, which is what it's supposed to do. Our systems work so we can do all that stuff, but we produce waste, don't we? And I'm not just talking about dropping kids off at the pool, okay? That's not all I'm talking about. Your liver produces waste. You produce emotional, psychological, and physiological waste, right? When we breathe, what's the waste? Carbon dioxide, okay? Why wouldn't that be the same thing for information systems? Okay, it is the same thing. They produce waste. Now, there's one vulnerability that I was looking at yesterday. Now, I'm starting with the hardware, okay? Now, this stuff is going to be in the course, so I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of details or whatever, but I just wanted to let y'all know that when you come over here, okay, when you come over here to Person-Centered Cyber, you're going to have to be prepared, all right? Because first of all, you're not going to hear all the other stuff you be hearing around these YouTube streets from these cyber people. You're not going to hear that, okay? You're just not, all right? We on a whole nother thing over here. I am in the future of cybersecurity, okay? I need you to get over here. I need you to get in here, okay, and hear what's going on. So, electromagnetic side channel vulnerability, okay, which is a hardware vuln, okay? Now, one of the clues that there is a vulnerability, that thing right there, that side channel vulnerability that is there, a couple of clues, not just one. Spent time, spent energy, electromagnetic radiation release, noise, and like 4 or 5 more of them. Every single process, everything that happens in an information system, there's going to be waste. Okay, now the thing is, okay, the thing is, the same way that there's waste with, you know, when we produce stuff, you know, if you're trying to, what is the, I'm trying to remember this movie. I don't know. But you can, so we produce carbon dioxide, right, as waste, you know, when we, and it's the opposite for trees. The trees, what, you know what a tree's waste is, right? Oxygen. So everything that happens in an information system has waste. When you put yeah, I'm not gonna get into all that anyway, but I just wanted to let y'all know that I said that last time, and that was before I even looked this up, okay? Because I mean, that's just the way, it's a physics thing, you know what I'm saying? It has to produce waste. We just got to figure out what the hell it is, you know, and what tools can we use to find it, you know what I mean? All right, so there's that. Now, let's get to this logical stuff. Now, like I was saying, I didn't know what the hell logical meant. Like, I read the definition. I thought I got it. I asked people who I thought knew it. All they told me was the definition they read, which is the same one I read. I'm like, listen, we can't be going around in circles like this, okay? I need to know what the hell it is. So we said before in my other video, when I talked about the difference between physical and logical, okay? And I gave you the example that physical is something that is meant to stay the same, okay? What's physical is not supposed to change, okay? Because we have to trust that it's going to be what it said it's going to be, which means it's going to be able to function the way it's supposed to function, okay? So as an example of that, and remember I used the body, I used the mural, is our blood and our DNA would be like the physical, okay? Not your arms and legs and all that, right? The stuff that is meant to be the same, to stay there, okay? And I said for logical, the example of logical related to that would be what can change the state of the physical? What can change the state, okay? Not change as in it's something different, but change the state of the physical. For example, your blood and your, you know, all that stuff. And I said, it's your emotions. Emotions do that. Emotions, you know, you get angry, your blood pressure go up, your temperature rise, all that stuff be happening physiologically, you know, as an example. And that's the same thing that software does to hardware. It changes the state of the hardware. Okay, it don't make it a whole brand. You don't all of a sudden have start off with you know, Microsoft and end up with a Mac. It don't change it like that. All right. But it starts changing it so that, you know, so the hardware is now doing something with the software. Okay, changing its state. All right. So we got that down. We got that. If you don't have that, go look at the video. Okay, so that's what physical and logical is. Okay. Now, let's talk about these logical ass ports. The easiest way that I figured to really get into this and to, use a common everyday stuff to understand it, right? Let me get that out of the way. Think of a physical port, the things that we hold in our hands and we plug in. What is this? Oh, I just bought a hard drive, child. All these ransomware attacks and shit going on. It backed up my OS and all that. So you have, the things that you physically plug in to the computer, the wall, whatever. That's like your last name. Okay. That's like your last name, because your last name is really who you are. Your last name connects you by blood to other people, right? It's the representation that you're connected by blood. Okay, so that's like a physical port, because remember we said physical is like the stuff that's supposed to stay the same, like your blood in your body. Okay, or stay with me. Okay, so a physical port is like your last name. All right, it's right there. It's connection, hardware to hardware, device to device. Okay, you're my mama, I'm your daughter, you're my sister, device to device. Like we're right there. Okay, connected forever. I don't care how much you don't like them. You can't stand your brother. That's your blood. Okay, that is your physical port. All right, connect you right there. Now the logical, not a logical port, it's the same but different. Okay, so where you have the physical port is device to device. Okay, hardware to hardware, printer to computer, speaker to laptop, well, mouse to whatever. Okay, the logical is like your first name plus your role, not just your first name. It's your first name plus your role. Okay, now what does that mean? My last name is Abram. Okay, there's other Abrams around here that I am related to by blood. Okay, where it's right there. Okay, the DNA proves it. It's right there. Okay, my first name is Cheryl. They got a billion Cheryl. I don't, how many Cheryls they got around here. I'm not real. I don't have nothing to do with other Cheryls. You know what I mean? That's not the connection. The Cheryl is not. I mean, I could have been anybody, but Cheryl plus my role. So I am Cheryl, and I'm also a mom. Okay. Now, when I put that mom on there, Cheryl and mom, those two together point to a connection. Cheryl mom, there are children over here. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Now that's one connection. Okay, now let's take that. So that mom part, the name part, the last name, the first name, those parts, that's like the IP address. Okay, the IP address. So remember, so we said, what is an IP address? Okay, I said an IP address is like not your house. It's not your house. It's the space that the house is in. Okay, that it's the space where the work is going to go down. Okay, in the whatever device the IP address is on, or devices. Okay, whatever interface it's connected to, that's where it's going to go down. All right. So the last name, first name, that's like the IP address. The role is like the port number in the service. Okay. So when you put an IP address and a port 80, 443, 25. You know, when you put that port, attach it to the IP address, you got a socket at that point, okay? But what's going on is when I say Cheryl Mom, now I can do something. Now I'm directly connected to another person when I do that, okay? Because as a mom, I provide a certain service, right? You know, at least until they're 18 and up out of this house, okay? So there you have, so that's your port 80. Okay, now let's get rid of that. What about Cheryl Speaker? I love speaking. Okay, we got that. Now I got a whole audience over here. You see how the role adds to the name, something to do. Okay, you're like, there's a certain purpose for it. Okay, so when you put that port number on that IP address, it's giving a purpose. Okay, so now this is what you're here for, right? You're here to help me, you know, connect to the web. All right, you're here so I can SSH into something. You see what I'm saying? There's a whole purpose, you know, when you add that port number onto the IP address. So you got Cheryl. What else am I? Cheryl YouTuber. Okay, Cheryl. I got my last name. You know, that's all. That's the hardware. My first name and the port. That's what the hardware is going to do. Okay, that is what, you know, the application that's coming over to talk to the OS, so we can do, you know, the hardware can do whatever it's being instructed to do. Okay. And then we have role. I mean, just think of the number of, like, how many well-known ports, 1,000 and something or whatever, right? And all together, they got a whole bunch. Okay, y'all know all that from all you studying and everything. Okay, so a logical port, well, a physical port facilitates connection between devices. Okay, facilitates connection between devices. Your last name establishes connection between families, okay, related relatives. All right, your feelings ain't got nothing to do with it. Okay, you blood, you just blood. All right, logical ports facilitate connections between applications, okay, but eventually you got to get to the hardware. Okay, for anything to happen, you're not going to have it. You need physical for logical to work. Okay, which is why I said the last name, then first name and port. Okay, now that connects me to the hardware over here, whether it's my son or my mom or my audience or whatever. Okay, so now this is the way that I'm getting it. If you have a different way of thinking about it, let me know. You know, let me know what you think about that. Okay. So if you think about a logical port as your role, okay, like who you are, like your name and your role, because every time you add a different role onto your name, okay. So your IP address, you have your IP address. It is what it is. Now, when you add a port number onto that IP, now you're going to function as something. Okay, what are you doing now? When you add a role onto your name, teacher, sister, husband, friend, foe, enemy, like whatever. Okay, now there's some action right behind that. Now there's some action. You know, there's some instruction, there's some direction. Okay, which is what logical stuff is, right? It's telling, it's instructing, it's doing something. Okay. All right. Now, tomorrow, I'm gonna have to come on and I need to do a video with you all, because I think that's the way I want to do it, to put it in the thing. I have a simple but powerful demonstration of vulnerability, because what I've been saying on here on LinkedIn to people I know and people I don't know that vulnerability is not weakness. That's not what it is. Okay. It is not inherently a weakness. Okay. It's simply a place where there's no resistance, which does not mean weak. That doesn't mean weak. You know, no resistance does not mean weak. It's just a place where change can happen because there's no resistance. Okay. You can build something, you can be something, you can think a different way, you can, you know, because there's no resistance there. So that's all vulnerability is. Now, like I said before, if somebody finds that vulnerability, if it was unknown and they find it and they want to use it for nefarious purposes, then they can do that because that's what a vulnerability is. There's no resistance. A vulnerability ain't gonna stop you from, doing what the hell you want to do. That's not its purpose. Its purpose is to be malleable, okay? And for you to be able to do with it what you will, if anything, okay? So so because of the direction that I'm going with this course and these resources and this training and this learning and all that and this evolution, this evolved way of seeing cyber and cybersecurity, I can't have, we can't be thinking about every time you have vulnerability, you're thinking weakness. Okay, that's not gonna work. It's not. So what I'm gonna show tomorrow is a really, really great example of what I mean by that. And it's very simple, very, very simple. Okay, but it shows how, I love it because it really shows how our perspective filters what we can do. Okay, and it's entirely a mental thing. It's so fascinating. It's so fascinating how just the way you think about something, the narrative that you tell yourself, very clearly dictates what you can do. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. All right, so that's what a logical port is. What's my next one going to be? If y'all have any ideas, if there's some concept or term and that you're studying for and you don't quite get it or whatever, let me know. Okay, my superpower is insight. I'm having to give me a cape that says insight on the back. Okay, because I see things, and not because I'm looking hard and deep and all this. It's just because I see what's obvious. The stuff I've been telling y'all on here. Okay, using these various metaphors and like really trying to bring home and show you how familiar these technical, IT and cyber terms are. We do this stuff every day. It's not, it's just looking at what's obvious. That's all. Like that's really all. But there is a but. The hardest thing to see in the world is what's right in front of your face. Bet. Mm-hmm. What's right in front of your face? You can't see it. It's too obvious. You can't see it. So it really is a it really is a gift when you can see what's right in front of your face. Seriously. All right, y'all. I was supposed to go to bed early. 11 o'clock is early for me. So I'm gonna see y'all here tomorrow. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. You don't want to miss out. Okay, you don't want to get left behind. All right. So go ahead and subscribe. And I will be back tomorrow. Okay. I'll see y'all then. Bye.